Sonic's Greenhouse Adventures Season 3 Chapter 16, The Ark. The next day, Dr. Demon ordered her henchmen to bring Shadow to the lab. When they returned, Shadow was with them, in handcuffs, so he wouldn't get any ideas.
Ah, good, you here. Boys, you can uncuff him now, and you may go.
Dr. Demon said in delight. Then the men left.
So, what is it you wanted me for?
Shadow asked nervously, for he hasn't experienced something like this since before Maria's death, and he never wanted to experience it ever again. So it's no wonder he was terrified.
Oh, nothing too big. I just needed a blood sample so I can analyze your DNA.
Shadow's point of view.
That's what I was afraid she'd say, but thankfully I don't have a phobia-level fear of needles, unlike Sonic. Fine, just get it over with, I said as I sat down in the chair she pointed me to. Then she put the small needle in my arm as gently as she could. Within seconds it was over. Then she put the sample into a device that would put the analytics on her computer. I watched as her face turned to shock before looking back at me in angered disbelief.
Why does this say you were genetically engineered?
Because I am the ultimate life form that was created by a brilliant scientist on a space station known as Space Colony Ark. Any more questions? I screamed out, for it was the easiest way to talk about my past.
Well, I see there's a part of your DNA that the computer can't identify. So care to explain that?
Dr. Demon asked as she moved aside to let me see for myself. I had no explanation for it. This was as much of a shock to me as it was to her. Then I added in that she is an expert on cellular mutation, so if she was left dumbfounded by it, it meant something. I have no idea. The only way to figure this out is to look for clues at his last known location, which was the Space Colony Ark. I explained shakily, for I never wanted to go back there. But then I thought of an idea to make it easier. I can get us there, however, I never wanted to go back there. So can Sonic come with us for emotional support? I asked hopefully as the thought of her saying no went through my mind.
Very well, Shadow. Follow me and we'll go get him.
Dr. Demon said as she started heading towards the door. A few minutes after we started walking, we arrived at a cell door. Once Dr. Demon unlocked it, I ran in so I could tell him myself. When I got in, I saw that he was swimming, so I dived in. Hey Sonic, I need your help with something, I said as I swam over to him.
Hey, Shadow!
Sonic said as he met me halfway to hug me in tearful relief. After a minute, he ended the hug.
So what's going on, Shadow?
We are taking Dr. Demon to a place of my past that I never wanted to return to. So please come with us for not only emotional support, but also for brotherly support, I asked pleadingly.
Of course, but why does it interest Dr. Demon so much?
Sonic asked seriously as we swam back to the other side of the cell. Something in my DNA cannot be explained by me nor her, and she's an expert on cellular mutation. We need answers that might be in the place we're going to. It's a surprise for the fun of it because I know it will leave you speechless, I replied as Sonic dried us off.
Well, you boys be careful, okay?
Longclaw said before we could start walking back over to Dr. Demon. Then we hugged her lovingly. We promise, Godmother, I said as we ended the hug. Then I walked over to Dr. Demon. Okay, stand close to me, Dr. Demon. We'll be there in a second, I said as I took Sonic's hand. Dr. Demon nodded and stood right next to me. Chaos Control! I screamed and teleported away. The next thing we knew, we were in my birthplace, the Space Colony Ark.
Whoa, what is this place, bro?
Sonic asked as he looked out the window to see the most amazing view of Earth. I walked up next to him. I brought us both here because this was mine and Maria's favorite spot in the entire Ark. Well, Sonic, welcome to the place where I was created, the Space Colony Ark. You see, I was also created to carry a cure for a 12-year-old human girl named Maria. She had to live up here for her lifelong deadly illness. didn't allow her to live on Earth. Then her grandfather, aka the professor who created me, made me to do that. But test after test proved to be a failure. So that part of my purpose was forgotten. So I just kept Maria company up until that day when the gun soldiers raided the Ark and killed Maria right in front of me. Just because she pulled the lever that would send me to the escape pod I was in down to Earth. She was able to tell me her final words and wish before it launched out of the Ark. I said as I finally broke down. Sonic immediately hugs me, and I cried uncontrollably. In fact, I could feel him trembling too. I looked up to see that he was crying too.
Oh, Shadow, I'm so sorry that happened. And wait, didn't Jade bring that up a while back? Man, that's horrible. But what did you say?
Sonic said as he did his best to try and soothe both of us. She wanted me to give the people on Earth a chance to be happy. I knew just how to do that by protecting them. Do you think she would be proud of me, Sonic? I told him as I was trying to wipe my tears away.
Yes, of course she would be. I know I am. And you want to know why? It's because you're the best big brother ever. And remember how we met?
Sonic replied with a huge smile on his muzzle. Boy, was that smile contagious. Yes, I'll never forget that. Thanks to it, we got out of gun headquarters as brothers, no less. I replied as I smiled too.
True, but I'm talking about how you tried everything you could to protect me from the horrors of the facility, even when just soothing me from that nightmare.
Sonic explained as he hugged me again. I hugged him back before we turned back to the window, as I saw wonder in Sonic's eyes and wagging tail. Impressive view, isn't it? I asked happily as I internally giggled at his adorable behavior.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see the planet this way. Now I can check it off my bucket list.
Well, I teleported us to this spot specifically, so I could show you the best spot of the Ark. Me and Maria would just stare at it for hours on end, talking about what it'd be like to live down there. We believed that once she was cured, we'd go there together and make friends and make the world a better place by helping people in need. I said it as I smiled at the memories.
Oh, that's beautiful, Shadow. I'm glad we got to do this together. I wish I could show you my birthplace, but I can't. All thanks to those power-hungry echidnas chasing me out.
Sonic said as he looked back at me. I know you do. A life isn't always fair, I guess, huh? I said playfully to lighten the mood.
Touché, bro.
Sonic said as he playfully punched me in the shoulder, which made us both laugh. Then Dr. Demi cleared her throat, and my focus returned as we walked back over to her.
So what are we looking for?
We're looking for a journal that documents all the details about my creation. I believe it's in the lab, so follow me. I replied as I started walking down the hall. They were not too far behind me.
By the way, how did you get us here?
Oh, it's a teleportation called Chaos Control. It's one of the abilities I was given when the professor was creating me. I replied easily. Finally, we made it to the lab. However, I was getting flashbacks to the constant testing and injections to try and get my body to carry the cure for Maria's illness.
Sonic's point of view.
I saw that Shadow froze up as tears fell down his face. Then he started to tremble. I could already tell why, so I immediately hugged him. Hey, it's going to be okay. I'm here, and I'll stand next to you the whole time. I said to comfort him and help him out of his frozen state. Shadow then shook his head quickly and looked at me with a relieved smile.
Thanks, Sonic. I needed that more than ever. Okay, let's find that journal. It has to be in one of the drawers in here somewhere.
Shadow said as we ran to each of the drawers to look for the journal. We immediately started looking through each of them for the next 2 hours.
Shadow's point of view.
As we finished looking, I heard a familiar voice calling out my name, but it was impossible.
Shadow?
The voice said again, and I knew I wasn't imagining it. Maria? I said shakily as I looked around the room for where her voice was coming from.
Shadow, what's wrong? You're shaking like a leaf.
Sonic said as he ran over to me. I heard Maria's voice calling to me, but I don't know how, why, nor where it's coming from. I said to reassure Sonic, hoping he didn't think I was crazy.
Well, Shadow, just follow your instincts and you'll know.
Sonic said lovingly as he put a hand on my shoulder supportively. I simply nodded and listened more closely. It's definitely coming from her bedroom, I said nervously. I was about to head there when Sonic stopped me.
Wait, do you need me to come with you?
But of course, just stay close to me. It's very easy to get lost in this huge place. Dr. Denman, I'm sure you will be able to find the journal by the time we get back, I said seriously.
Of course, but no funny business, got it?
We nodded before dashing off. When we got there, I saw her. Her spirit, of course, but still, it was her. Maria, is it really you? I said, trembling as I slowly walked up to her, fearing that this was a vivid dream.
Yes, I just wanted to say goodbye without me dying getting in the way.
Maria said and hugged me. I was able to hug her back as I quietly sobbed. But then I somehow was able to smile. I never really got the closure I needed for that day until now, I guess.
Also, look at what's on my bed. It's for you to remember me by. I did it just in case my illness killed me before you could find a way to cure me. I guess I was right to do so.
Maria said as I looked at what she put there. There was a plushie that looked like her in a picture of us. Oh, Maria, thank you so much. They're perfect, I said as I hugged her one last time.
You're very welcome, Shadow. And don't worry, I'll always be watching over you, all of you.
Maria said as she hugged me back, and I knew what she meant by all of us. I know, but I'll still miss you. But I will be able to move on with my life instead of dwelling in the past, I said as we ended the hug. Then she walked over to Sonic.
Sonic's point of view.
I could see the girl with blonde hair and blue eyes and was wearing a blue dress. She was also a little transparent, showing she was a spirit. Saw Shadow's reaction, I knew this was the girl who saved my brother that day. Maria, I waited for them to finish before saying anything for I didn't want to ruin their moment. But then she walked over to me.
It's nice to meet you, Sonic. I know Shadow told you about me. I just wanted to thank you for making Shadow happy since you met him. You sent him up with the life I always wanted for him since I sent him to Earth.
Maria told me and then she hugged me. I hugged her back. Well, thank you, Maria. It was the right thing to do. Though I never saw it in that way before. So I'm glad I was able to do that for you, Shadow, I said as we ended the hug. Then she started to fade away.
Sayonara, Shadow and Sonic the Hedgehogs.
Maria said and then she was gone. I looked at Shadow, who was silently crying but with a smile on his face. Are you going to be okay, Shadow?
Yes, I am more than okay. Come on, Dr. Denman is waiting for us and might get suspicious if we make her wait any longer.
Shadow said as he picked up the plush and photo.
When they arrived back in the lab, they saw Dr. Denman with the journal in hand.
I see you found it. Well then, let's get back to your lab.
Shadow said in an upbeat tone that he hasn't quite used as strongly since before Maria's death. Then Dr. Denman looked at Shadow with a puzzled look on her face.
What's up with you, Shadow? Are you okay? What happened and what are those things in your arms?
Dr. Denman asked curiously as she walked over to them.
Let's just say I finally got the closure I needed for a long time. Chaos Control.
Shadow said, and they teleported back to the lab on Earth.
Well, that was an interesting adventure if I do say so myself.
No cheating, Sonic.
I'll have a guard escort you to your cell since you need someone to unlock and then lock the door again.
Dr. Denman said as she put the journal down and picked up the phone to call 2 guards to the lab to do just that.
And tomorrow I'm going to have you all demonstrate your powers for me, so it'll be a little reunion.
Dr. Denman explained as they were escorted out.